What's up, y'all? We're back here at Miller Speed Co, and the boys are gonna help us out with a little bit of a suspension upgrade that we're making. So we're gonna hop right in. Let's go. Alrighty, y'all, so as you guys can see, Bryce was nice enough to let me take my bike into the showroom here. Got to show it off a little bit, you know, don't usually get to do that on my channel, weirdly enough. But today we're gonna do a Harry's Fork Shim kit, right? Yeah, Harry's Customs. Yep, so basically, guys, this is for all of you guys that want to gain a little bit more ground clearance in the front of your bike but don't want to spend boo-goo bucks doing it. This is kind of your intermediate step. So we're just gonna walk you through it. Bryce, take it away.
All right, so first when we're installing these things, obviously you need the front end off the ground. We're going to be dropping these forks all the way down, therefore we need room for that tire to go. So first thing, always put a jack under it. Always make sure the bike is in gear so it doesn't roll off of the jack. Then next we're going to basically be loosening up all the pinch bolts on the triple clamps. On these new Lowrider S's, your forks are actually tapered. So when we drop these down like you could on the old bikes and you go to actually torque the lower tree, you will find that you will not be making contact with the actual fork. So they put these shim kits in there to basically make up that gap. So you're actually getting a proper torque on the fork so you're not rolling down the road and have your forks be sliding up out of your trees. So we're going to start loosening everything up, drop those down, then we'll be installing those shims and we'll go from there. So now that we got the bike up in the air, I loosened up all this, drop the forks down. So we're basically going to go to this flush line where the cap screws into the actual fork tube. And then now I'm going to be checking side to side to make sure we have the same height, because you don't want to be rolling with down the road crooked. So Bryce is a very meticulous guy. You guys might not have a micrometer, but maybe take at least a measurement with like a ruler, tape measure, whatever you have, instead of just eyeballing it, because like Bryce was saying, you definitely don't want these to be crooked. Definitely cause uneven tire wear, because of wobble.
But Bryce, how many inches would you say this maybe gets you?
Well, you can actually see the difference right there. So.
Yeah, so there you go. I'd say it's like an inch and a quarter probably or so. When I raised up the rear, that's like a 2-inch over of stock, and I really wanted to go back to just the stock stance of the bike. So I think this will be much more comfortable for sure.
It will actually handle a lot better too, because as you raise the rear and don't raise the front, it's now applying more pressure or more weight on your front end, where you want to lighten that thing back up. So right now when your bike is squatting like that, all the weight of that bike is sitting on your front end. So once you bring it back up, it lightens that up, which makes handling a lot better. So now we get to actually installing the shims. Now if you notice, on the shims themselves are also tapered. So there's a thin side and a thick side. So the thick side goes up because the fork tube tapers down. So
we're being smart now, and we actually took the fairing off because you get a lot better access to these things. We're smart people, I promise. Sometimes, most of the time. Yeah.
Alright, so now we've dropped the forks down and measured side to side to make sure they're both the same. We also installed our shims. We removed the fairing so we can kind of get to them a little bit easier there. So now we're going to be torquing the trees. So these are going to be, these 3 pinch bolts on each side are going to be torqued to 16 to 20 foot-pounds. Now when I torque the bottom ones, I always do it 3 times because there's 2 bolts. So therefore every time you torque one, it is going to change the torque on the other one. So you want to torque it multiple times just to make sure that that torque is true on both of those bolts. So we're just going to get it torqued up, put the fairing back on, and Cassidy will be on his way. Alright, so we got his new shims installed. Basically we got everything back together, everything's torqued to factory specification. We got the fairing back on. There's only one thing left to do.
What do we have to do?
We gotta clean it.
This guy, he always likes to tell me to clean my bike because I don't do a good enough job. I know it. He knows it. It's fine.
It's okay. Spit Shine will get us cleaned up.
Hey, there it is. There's the plug. They actually do make great stuff, guys. On a completely separate note, if you're looking for something good to clean your bike, I use Spit Shine all the time and I love it. I think it's great. So we're gonna get it all polished up and then I'm gonna hit the road and I'll let you guys know how it's feeling. So yeah, let's get after it. Let's go. Alrighty, guys. I know it's a little dark, so if you can't tell, we are just pulling back into beautiful Santa Barbara. Oh man, it is a little chilly tonight. I'm not gonna lie, might not have dressed for the occasion, but we're just heading back out from the shop. Big thank you to Bryce for helping me out with the install. You know, I was gonna hop on the bike here and I was gonna go and actually, like, you know, go through like a canyon ride at a later time and really kind of show you how this thing's handling now that the front end's all lifted up. But I realized from your guys' angle, it might be kind of tough to see that. So I hope you can kind of tell, but man, it feels great to have this thing back to ripping at its stance. That's, you know, the stock stance, really. I mean, what Bryce is saying about, you know, getting some of that weight off the front end, it really does actually make a huge difference. I kind of didn't even think about that when I was getting that, you know, the back end lifted up, and I thought it was handling better, mostly just because it had that, you know, the increase in that ground clearance. But it's crazy how much better it feels when the weight of the bike is distributed the way that it should be. So like I said, I was gonna go and kind of actually tell you guys, you know, how it was handling going through the canyons and actually hitting some corners and stuff, but I wanted to talk about how I feel about these fork shims, you know, while it's still fresh in my mind right after we did the install here. So I would say for me, if you guys are on the fence about, you know, if you're thinking about doing a suspension upgrade for your front end, doing a full front end build, whatever it is, this is a worthy upgrade if you are on the fence about whether or not you want to spend that money. I mean, obviously it's not actually doing anything to improve the ride quality of the front suspension, but especially if you guys have lifted up your rear side of the bike, I would say this is a great sort of intermediate step to take, because you really don't realize how much better the bike feels when it's weighted correctly until it's back to feeling that way. And then plus, you know, you do get that little bit of extra cornering clearance, which is super nice. But obviously it's not going to feel as good as like a full Olin setup or GP setup, or even just a basic cartridge kit is obviously going to, you know, improve the actual handling quality of the bike more than this. But if you're just looking to, you know, get a couple more inches of lean, or if you're looking to, you know, make sure that you're back to level the way that the bike should feel, definitely something to look into. Super worth it for the money. You know, he makes some great stuff. I've got a number of his parts on my bike, so definitely go check him out. And yeah, I mean, let me know what you guys are thinking. Are you guys enjoying this bike build series? Are you looking for other kind of content? I'm really trying to keep growing the channel. It's been a struggle to, you know, get it back going after taking so much time off. So if you guys could hit that like button, hit subscribe, all the good YouTube stuff, it really helps me out way more than you guys know. I really want to be able to spend more time on these videos, keep bringing you guys more quality content, hopefully show you more cool motorcycle shit and all that, and, you know, cool video stuff. Everything that I'm into, I want to, you know, be able to share with you. So if you like the videos, do all the YouTube stuff. You already heard me say it. I'm gonna get going before it gets too dark for you guys to see, but I hope you guys enjoyed the install, and I will see you all in the next one. Later.